coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts. Hey man, shout out everybody out there on Team Banky Pound, man. I appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. We out here, man, pushing this P. 24/7, 365. Let's get it. Let's go. We're on the road to 150K, man. We can't get there. We don't get out there and put no boots on the ground and spread the word. Word of mouth is the greatest promotion out there, man. So tell a friend to tell a friend. Share the videos. Hit the hype button. Leave comments. Let's go. Let's get it in 2026. Big love to all my members, man. We're going to keep it coming over there. Let's get it. Listen. Shout out to the Morning Mud, man, because in the Morning Mud this morning, somebody just made me remember a story when they was talking about the good old D&D, the Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons, believe it or not, is a big game in the penitentiary. On a couple of different institutions I've been on, right? You have some, no offense, but to me, them dudes are weird, man. They super duper weird to me, man. I ain't lying to you, man. I don't know, you know what I'm saying, in Virginia Penitentiary, you don't know what somebody's, you know, what they locked up for, nothing like that. But all them Dungeons and Dragons dudes, to me, all them dudes seem weird. All them dudes, if I had to guess, some of them jokers probably serial killers. Some of them jokers probably burying some bodies in the woods. Some of them jokers might have ate some people or something. I don't know, man. They just seem weird to me. And it's kind of spooky to me, you know, because the whole game, to the best of my knowledge, is about some wizardry and sorcery and a fantasy world, and they really be into that. I mean, they is into that. They living these lives and having their own language and walking around with all of these papers and notes and stuff. You would think they was like an insurance man or something. I'm telling you, man, they be having stacks and stacks of papers with notes and all of these, I guess, the notes of whatever the story they done created in their fantasy world that they're living, and they're living in this life. They talk about it every day. They talk about it in code. They meet in the pod and we can't go outside, and they take over a whole table, and they got notes on the ground and notes on the tabletop, and they're talking and they're rolling dice and this, you know, it's crazy. And when you get in a pod, they got a lot of them. It's like 4 seats at a table. If you got 7, 8, 9 of them in it, because they're trying to get moved in the block with each other once they find, oh, you play Dungeons and D&D, and they get moved in the block together. And you'll have a couple of them sitting Indian style with their legs crossed on the floor in the pod. And they engulfed with this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And to me, you know, you in the belly of the beast, man. It's about survival, man. And them jokers is just weird. You know what I'm saying? They weird to me. And then, like I say, some of them, you got some black guys into it. You know, they be the ones with the big, thick glasses on, and they're like, yeah, man, we're playing D&D today. Yeah, buddy. But me not on the yard. You know, and I mean, I just thought it was weird, man. I don't fool with them. You know, they just gave me, you know what I'm saying, the bad vibe. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of dudes joke on them, and a lot of dudes, you know, look at them as being nerds, or like they all nerds, or they weak or something like that. That don't necessarily mean the case. They just into a different type of, you know what I'm saying, lifestyle. So the main thing that I remember about them, which kind of confirmed my, you know, my own thought process about them, was I can remember being on the institution. I think I was on Greensville during this time, and like when we go outside, right, you'll have a community of them dudes might be on one side of the yard, the other ones are on the other side of the yard. So what they'll do is they'll gather at the back of the yard, or either somewhere in between, close to the back, depending on who there, because dudes be talking to each other through the fence and stuff, you know, because you can't really get to them. So your dudes come out, you holler at your homeboy next door, dudes passing stuff under the fence, this, that, and the third. You know, the fence is more or less like take care of your business situation. You know, if you got something on the other side of the yard you trying to get, you trying to dude over there got the weed, dude over here got the dope, you know, dudes over here got wine, they sell it, you know, that's what you doing. Then you got these dudes, they trying to commandeer a certain part of the fence where they sitting in there line up 5 or 6 of them on this side, 8, 9, 12 of them on the other side, and they playing D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, right? They got all these papers out there. They got their little ink pens. All of them gonna have a whole lot of pens, and they got the ink pens and notepads, and they going through it. So on this particular day, you got dudes that walk the yard too. They walk the lap. So when you coming around the back end, you know the track. It's a track. The track is as close to the fence as you can get because you jogging. You supposed to be jogging or walking or whatever. So when dudes walk the joint, when you spin in that corner, you right there where the D&D dudes at, the Dungeons and Dragons dudes at. So sometimes they in the way or you got to walk around them. You know what I'm saying? So boom. On this particular day, they coming around, and as they coming around, old boy is with another dude. He with another dude coming around the joint, and they talking, and they chopping it up. Whatever they chopping it up about. But the dude that's coming around, he one of them old, you know what I'm saying, think he's super bad. He one of them old, think he's super bad type dudes. And I personally believe, I think they was high. They was, smoking that reefers. Smoking that reefers. So when they come around, he talking and not paying attention, and he bump into one of the Dungeons and Dragon dudes, like boom, because them dudes sitting on the ground. They literally sitting on the ground, Indian style, right? Kikiing and ha-ha and stuff like that. You know, some of them even bring their little coffee cups out there. They got the coffee cold, they still drinking it. So he, boom, bump and stumble into the dude. He's like, man, y'all out here with this. He like, excuse me, my bad, man, I'm moving. He started scooting over. Man, this man started snapping. He just wanted to make a scene because he high and, y'all, and he started kicking. And he kicked the dude, right? So then they're like, hey, man, come on, man. And then he just started kicking their paperwork, and he grabbed paper and started ripping it up. A couple of them jumped up, hey, man. And he, like I say, man. And he take off on one of them, bang, bang, set them down, boom. And they all jump up now. They even on the other side of the fence like, hey, man, what are you doing, man? And then, like, freaking A, man. So he like, what's up? What's up? You know what I'm saying? And dude this with him, he had too, but he like grabbing his shirt, like, come on, man, leave him alone. So he started ripping paper and kicking paper. So now their paperwork done got discombobulated. This is their notes of keeping in, I don't know, I'm assuming, or from what I've heard, like they keeping notes about what has happened, what has transferred. This is their whole life. This is their life in the world that they actually live in is in their paperwork. This is why they got so much paper, man. I'm telling you, these dudes look like they insurance agents or they in college taking the highest degree possible. They be having whole notepads because they created a whole world and they got the whole world, what's the word I want to say, they got their whole world chronologically in order in their paperwork, right? Of what they done did 4, 5 years ago. Some of these dudes been playing these joints for years and they can go back to everything that happened in each year. It's weird. I'm telling you, it's weird. So he done kicked up the paperwork everywhere and scattered other people's paperwork with other people's paperwork. He done ripped some up. He done punched one of the dudes in the joint. You know what I'm saying? The dude put him, come on, man, before we get locked up, man. So he dragged him in there, but it's made so much commotion that everybody is looking. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, man, that dude over there fighting the Dungeons and Dragons guys. Crazy work, right? Crazy, insane. So, suffice it to say they mad, man, and they trying to pick up their paperwork, and I'm telling you, I'm not trying to be funny. Man, a couple of them jokers was crying. I'm talking about like real tears, man. Like, do that for it, man. Freaking hey, man, this is nobody doing that to nobody, man. He's just gonna mess up my own paper, man. It's like, and they exchange and they trying to get it right. They try and get it right, but they mad. They mad. The dudes on the other side is mad. So it's crazy. He's steady walking and going on about his business or whatnot. Man, they start scattering and picking up paper. I guess they, had a little conversation on what they say they call it head dude. They got a head dude in that joint too. It's like, I think he's like a dungeon master or something like that, right? So I guess they had their little combos or whatever, get their paperwork and all that stuff together. So when the yard closed, they go on in. So, man, it was wild. Dudes was talking about, like, man, dudes was over there fighting the Dungeons and Dragons dude. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, kicking their paperwork all everywhere and everything. So it was, nothing great big, but it was just, something that you use on see because, like I say, they off on their own doing their own thing. And most people just leave them alone or either categorize them or look at them like, man, them dudes some nerds, man. Or they some widows. Or like, why you want to come to penitentiary and just, be a nerd and you could sit here all day and play a game and live in a fantasy world, then you could have been doing that out in the free world. You know what I'm saying? So it makes you wonder, it made me wonder, like, what these dudes locked up for? Because all of them don't look like, you know what I'm saying? Like I say, to me, they look like they might be doing some weird stuff if they locked up. I can't see none of these dudes. But like I say, you can't judge a book by its cover. But looking at it, I can't see none of these dudes out there selling no drugs or robbing somebody, kicking no doors in, waving no fofos or nothing. I couldn't see that. But like I say, you never know. You know what I'm saying? I just thought weird stuff with them probably because I was immature and my thinking won't on that level. Like, they could be locked up for anything, you know what I'm saying, as far as I know, but, probably, bank fraud or something. Anyway, so they doing all of that, man, and they usually, like I say, they out there every day, man, like clockwork. They meet out there. This is what they do. So for the next time that we went outside, we had one more wreck that day. They didn't come out. They wasn't even out there. You know what I'm saying? So the following day, when we have the wreck and we go to wreck, and then they all out there at the back of the fence on both sides, but they not doing what they normally do. Sit down, Indian style. You know what I'm saying? Bring out all the paperwork and woo. They out there and they at the back of the fence and they talking. You know what I'm saying? They talking. And then the next thing you know, it's like about 5 of them. They start walking around the yard, right? And you was just like, well, what is they doing? They ain't playing today. If you paying attention. I'm paying attention, and other people probably is too, because anytime you in the penitentiary, if you are in survival mode, which you should be at all times, you have to pay attention to certain movement, things that's out of the ordinary. It's like when you say, you see them things that they show when they show a picture and they show all these pictures. Say, which one of these things don't fit in this picture? It don't fit in the picture for them to be moving around. It don't fit in the picture for them not to have their paperwork. It don't fit in the picture for them not to be sitting down in the back of that fence getting to the Dungeons and Dragons, because we might not got number 2-3 hours on the yard. So I pay attention to that. So they was talking. So then they started moving around. And then you just follow them and watch where they walking, and they walking like together. And you just follow them. And if you look ahead, you see the dude that had, messed their paperwork up. He's sitting over there talking to another dude. You know what I'm saying? They probably was still over there again, smoking that reefers. And they just walking around, and they get closer and closer to them. And in your mind, you thinking, hey, is they gonna do something? Is they that type of? Man, they got up on that dude, man, and one of the dudes just pulled his little joint out and say, started hitting that hammer. And them other dudes pulled out, and some of them dudes, and this is real talk, some of them dudes got a whole rack of ink pens wrapped up, taped up. They hitting them with ink pens, but one of them dudes had a real joint, though. But they started just hitting him with ink pens. But he started fighting back. He won't know like no Bama. He said, boom, boom. He's swinging, but they just coming and chopping at him. Like a pack of hyenas, man. And the dude that he was talking to, he jumped in the fray too, because he hit one of them dudes with a boom, knocked him down, boom. And he started stomping and kicking on him. But Dude was fighting back that they coming at, but you got 3, 4 dudes coming at you, right? And they getting at him, man, and he tripped and fall down, and man, they was on him like a pack of hyenas, man. Kicking, punching, poking, ink pens, Bethlehem, and he just had to cover up, you know what I'm saying? And man, they had him dead to rights. And then some other dudes that ain't got nothing to do with it at all, you know what I'm saying? Probably ain't even that cool with him. They run over there and jump in it just cause dudes want to be in something. And then they like, I mean, maybe in their ego, like, man, we can't let these nerds do this. They probably run amok. So they run over there and start teeing off on the little nerds, and then the nerds start running. You know what I'm saying? So that was just too much movement, too much fast movement going on the yard that it attracted the attention of the person in the tower, and the alarm go off, bam, and they holler, hey, 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 hey. Next thing you know, then the police coming from everywhere. You got a couple of nerds laying out there on the ground, you know what I'm saying, holding their eyes or whatever, and then you got the dude, he bust up though. He buzzed up. He done took some stuff. He done took some hits, some pokes, and everything. So he messed up. Dudes trying to get him up off the ground. So he come out there, man, to get everybody all lined up. Get on the fence, get on the fence. You know what I'm saying? Start getting the corpors, the victims, and all of this. And, they ushering us in and everything. But all of that occurred. The revenge of the nerds occurred because somebody thought it was, cool to mess with that paperwork that them people got with that Dungeons and Dragons. Not realizing to them, that's their life, man. They live that every day. You know what I'm saying? It's like their yearbook, their you know what I'm saying, their photo album, their memories, their, path of what they doing, and you don't go in and mess with that. You done ride the nerds up to get violent. You lucky they ain't put no spells on you, some sorcery or some stuff like that. But I told you, I said, man, I believe some of these dudes is serial killers, man. I believe that, man, because it's a look. They just look like. And you looking at them and they out of place. It's like, man, they clothes be all wrinkled. They don't care nothing about that. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, some of them don't be hitting that water, don't want to go to that shower. They go to chow, and they get at a table, and they play Dungeons and Dragons. They go to their cell, and they in their cell, sitting on their bed, Indian style, studying Dungeons and Dragons. Writing in they, man, I just think that's weird, and I think that you don't know what one of them type of dudes is capable of. You don't know what they might do. You know what I'm saying? So, why would you even fool with them? They live in a different reality. You know what I'm saying? So in their reality, killing you might be, it might be approved. Might not be frowned upon. It might be like, in their world, did you really die? You didn't die. You went to another universe because you were out of order. I don't know what they be thinking. I just don't deal with people like that. And I don't get in their way, and I hope they don't get in my way. You know what I'm saying? I hope they don't get in my way, but I just know they weird. I knew a homeboy one time, he tried to put a dude in his cell, and he said dude was all right for the first, you know what I'm saying, hour or two. He like, dude, okay. He said them dudes started unpacking. He put out all his Dungeons and Dragons stuff. Bro, you play that joke? He said, oh yeah, buddy, I play this, man. Yeah, this is, man. And trying to explain, like, nah, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work, bro. Y'all gonna be having that, nah. Cause I'm telling you, they live in a different world. You know what I'm saying? And whoever that dungeon master was, he probably sat there and had that powwow with them and say, he messed up your stuff, we're gonna get him. We're gonna get him. We can't let this slide, because if we let this slide, other people are going to start messing with our stuff, and we can't have that. We've built years of our community up with this paper stuff, man, and for them to do that, we have to make a stand. You get him? Probably I went, but I don't know. But they got him, though. They went and got him for sure, for sure. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. So, at one point in time, I don't know if that was the same institution or another institution. I remember the joint was so heavy. This one might have been Nottoway. They was talking about taking them people Dungeons and Dragons stuff. Man, they was talking about taking it because they was saying that they did the administration. And man, them people was gonna go the blank off. They weren't going for that, bro. You could see them walking around mad and all this stuff, and it was like they was talking about taking that stuff from them, saying for whatever reason. And you know, the administration can always do that. They can turn around and they make the rules, But I remember that happening. I think that was Nottoway, and they was talking about it. And them dudes was ready to protest. They was ready to snap. And when something happened, and then I guess they aborted the mission about taking it. But I heard that they was supposed to be taking all that of just banning that Dungeons and Dragons stuff in the prison. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, man, them dudes may look docile, but if you go messing with that paperwork, if you go messing with that game, bro, you gonna find some of them in there that's gonna stand up, and they gonna be willing to go all the way about that stuff because they really believe in what they doing. You know what I'm saying? And you can call them a nerd all you want. You know what I'm saying? They say Jeffrey Dahmer was a nerd. You know. He still put people on the dinner plate. You see what I'm saying? So you can't underestimate these people, man. And it just all depends on how you think and how you look at it. The way I think is, man, if you doing something that you feel like is another universe, another world, and you really believe this, and you believe in sorcery and wizardry and all this, bro, I ain't got time to be, getting into nothing with you. I don't want to get into conversations with you. I don't want to get into altercation with you. I don't want to get into nothing with you because you already look at the world a whole different way. And I don't know what that way is. So I just stay away. You know what I'm saying? And maybe Buddy should have took the same advice, stayed away from them people, man. But yeah, that was the Revenge of the Nerds, man. Them jokers that won't playing that, man. Them jokers was crying. You talking about grown men crying? When you see grown men crying over something like that in the penitentiary, on the yard, shedding tears, bro, you should have been scared, bro. You should have been scared, and you should have been prepared. You know what I'm saying? You should have been scared, and you should have been prepared. You made a grown men, not one couple, cry over some paperwork, and you won't scared? Smoke too much reefers. Anyway, man, y'all talk to me in the comments. I talk back, man. Shout out to the nerds, man. I ain't got no problem with you, brother. You know what I'm saying? Revenge of the Nerds, I got no problems with y'all, man. Do what you do, man. Live your life, man. Do what you got to do, man, to get what you trying to get in life. In the meantime, in between time, y'all do me one, man, and hit the like button, man. Hit the share button, man. Hit the hype button, and tell a friend, man, that over here is where we got it going on 24/7, 365. We pushing out positive content every day.
The Banky special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man. My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.